Welcome to my channel, and we are today going to continue with adding and retrieving image from SQL Compact Edition Part 2. In the Part 1 we saw that we can add an image and retrieve an image from SQL Compact Edition, and I also explained how you can set up the whole Compact Edition and all. So before we begin, if you are new to this, I would like to show you a quick demo. So view the server, not the solution explorer, the server explorer, where you can see you have your database in which you are going to add an image. So let's start first and let's add an image. So I'm going to say bb add an image, and I would say this is image and which is added. And now let me go back and let me check the data. BB is something which I have recently added and the number is 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to get the image by ID 12 and I get the image back. So this demo is working, which I have explained earlier. So how this is working, basically you can see is we are having a database, the compact database. How do you achieve it? You simply create a data connection and you add a connection, then you go to change. By default it is SQL Server, which is a big daddy, but right now we are dealing with the compact edition, so we choose this. Then it gives you two options: either you can create a database or you can browse if you have any. And I have the sample one not went, so I'm gonna test connection and things are okay. Okay, it's cool. And then I'm gonna check the tables and I'm going to view the data, and yes, indeed it works fine. So we have the Northwind, the connection, the same way we have our own connection. Okay, and you can see how the table is designed. This table has an ID, which is an integer, which is an auto increment. Next is the image, which is stored into the binary formats, which is a binary data. Next is the title I have over here, right, which is I'm entering from here. So now let's focus on adding an image to the database, right? So once I jump into the code, you can see I have the name of that button is button 1 click, and it says open file dialog 1.show dialog. Okay, so what's the open file dialog? If you are not aware of that, I hope you can see this open file dialog. In the toolbox you can find the open file dialog. Where is it? Open, yes, this is it. You can simply drag the control over here, which gives you a facility. When you say show dialog, it gives you a prompt and that lets you choose the file, what file you want to choose. So I can say open dialog.show dialog, it gives me a prompt, please choose the file. Okay, now this is funny, I am not sure why I have added this thing. Next thing, once I have the file, I'll put the file into the image, which is nothing but system.drawing image. So I'll say image, get me an image from a file whichever I have just received, while choosing the file. So I have an image in img. The next thing what I'm going to do is, once I have the image in the img, I'm going to put that image into a memory stream. Now why memory stream? Memory stream is nothing but a series of bytes, okay, and everything the image has is nothing but number of bytes. So what my plan is to put the img, the image which I have just received from this file, the dialog. I'm going to get that file, I'm going to put the whole content of that image, which is in bytes, I'm going to put this into this memory stream. But how do I do that? And that is done using the img.save method. If you look at the save method, it says okay, you are going to save, but you need to save it into the stream. So this is a stream I'm saying, and this is the image format which we need to provide. So okay, now we have our data into the image stream. Image stream, I mean the memory stream, what I mean, right? The name is img memory stream. Generally memory stream holds up your binary data. Next thing, we need to access the memory stream, and in order to get the byte array, so what I do is img memory stream dot get buffer, which gives me a byte array back. Okay, so I need a byte array, but now the question is, why do I need a byte array back? Because it's a binary data and that we are going to add in the database, so that's why I need it. So I hope you got the steps. First point is you select the file, then you create an image control in which you get the file, then you use the save method and put the bar the byte content into the img memory stream, which is nothing but a memory stream. Then you access the memory stream and then you use the get buffer to get the binary data. Once you have that, then the things are pretty simple, because now we are going to do a simple SQL shitty stuff, and which is we are going to use the SQL Ce command. Now please remember, SQL Ce command, generally when we deal with the big daddy, it goes like SQL command, SQL connection, stuff like that. So when you normally working with this, you won't get a reference. So in order to add a reference, you need to add something like this. You need to add system.data.sqlserver.ce. You need to add a reference. So once you do that, the error from here will go away. Okay. Next thing, you need to write a query to insert into a table data, because now we are going to insert. And what are we inserting? Image and title. ID is auto increment, so we don't need to worry. So against img, I have a variable called as a parameterized variable called as my picture, and title as title. And this value I'm filling up over here as saying, okay, the value is going to be of type SQL DB type image, but the value I'm going to provide is a byte array, which I have just received over here, right? So same thing I'm going to pass here, and title is pretty simple. It's an varchar, and whatever title text you are receiving from here, okay, you're simply passing it in here. So once you do that, you open the connection, you fire the query and close the connection. Once you fire the query, the data goes into the database. If anything breaks between that, you get an exception and you can manage that, right? So once again, you got the idea. Open the file, get the data in the image, load the data into the stream, get the byte array, simply hit the byte array into the parameters and simply save the data. So this completes the add part. Now next is the retrieve part, where on the click of this, it tries to retrieve data from this ID. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So whatever value you can see over here, 1 till 12, I can put in any value over here, and then I query the database. Whoops, what just happened? 1 second. Okay, we have the data back. So this was the button click 2. This is the button click 2, and whatever value you pass in that value box, okay, that value will come here. So I'm querying to the database, hey, get me the data where ID is equal to whatever you passing in here, text value.text, and I'm simply collecting over here. Okay, so these are my parameters. The moment I do that, okay, and oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to explain you about the connection. Connection is something which I have defined at the top level. It is a SQL Ce connection, and this is my connection string. Now a lot of time people having trouble finding the connection string, and they manually do stuff. So no need to worry. Simply right click on the properties option, and you get the connection string right here. Simply copy this guy and paste it in here. You are guaranteed connected to your database, right? So back to the retrieving data. So as far as you can see that we have passing the ID over here, and based on that it will try to get a data for us. So I'm opening a connection over here. I'm using a SQL Ce data reader and execute reader that will fire the query, and once I fire the query, and I will have the data in my reader. So I'll try to read, and it's an obvious thing when I say table data where ID is equal to something, so I'm gonna get only one row, right? So whatever row I'm getting, I know the name of that row is img, and I'm expecting the byte array out of it. Okay, so that's why I've done the typecasting, and I'm storing the data into the byte array. So this is how I'm getting the data from that specific column, right? So once I have the binary data, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a bitmap, which again needs a stream, and the stream should have the data which I'm feeding right here. So whatever data I'm getting from the database, I'm simply putting into the stream, and that stream fills the bitmap. Okay, and once the bitmap is filled, I'm simply attaching the bitmap to picturebox.image, which is right here. And once you do that, the image shows up, and you simply close the connection. Okay, so once again I'm firing the query, and I'm getting one row back. At the time of getting one row back, I know that image is nothing but a binary data, and I'm trying to convert that data into a byte array using the typecasting. And once I have the binary data, I'll feed the binary data to memory stream over here, and that memory stream fill up the bitmap with the byte array. And once the bitmap is filled, it will fill up the picture box, and once we do that, it works fine. Next thing, some people are worried that they need a code. So what I've done is I have pasted this code globally. You can open in any browser, and you need to remember this link so you will easily get this code, right? So it's pretty simple, nothing spectacular, right? So I hope that helps. And what else I need to cover? I guess I have covered everything. Important thing is adding a reference over here, trying to get the data from the database. The code is pretty simple. The same thing works at the SQL Server as well. The syntax is a bit here and there. Okay, so I hope this video helps you in some way. If it does, then guys, please subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends, those who are in need. Thank you for watching. Good night and take care. Welcome to my channel, and today we will continue with the part 2 of adding and retrieving image from SQL Compact Edition. In past we have seen the demo how this thing works. At the very same time we saw how can you set up the SQL Compact Edition via Visual Studio or Management Studio, right? So those who are new, I will give you a quick peek how to set up that. So this is normal Visual Studio in which we have a project. This is window forms, and I have a bunch of controls over here. But before I begin with the SQL Compact Edition, what I need to do is I need to go to view, then I need to hit Server Explorer, so I get window like this. Then I go to data connection, add a new connection, then over here I change. I would say, by default we use this one, the Big Daddy, but right now we are dealing with the Compact Edition, so we go with that. Then over here you get two options: either you can create a new database, or either you can choose if you have any existing database, something like this. So I'm gonna pick this guy. I'm gonna test the connection. Let's see everything is okay, and I hit OK. So I can see all the data of Northwind and everything appears to be good. Let's have a look. So this is the Compact Edition data, right? And the same what we have for our project. Okay, and you can see the structure is very simple. We are storing the data within TBL data table. The database name is testdb, and the columns are ID, IMG, and title. Title is this add image. When you add the image on the fly, the image gets stored into the binary format. The ID is auto increment. So let's have a look at the data. So like I said, this is auto increment, this is a binary data, and this is the title, right? And let's run this thing one more time to see the things work in action. So I'm gonna say title is going to be VV add an image. We're going to add an image, and let's hit OK, and we should get a prompt, yes, that image added successfully. Now at the very same time I can go back to my Server Explorer and check if I have received the data. Well, I just added VV and I can see, and at the very same time I'm looking at the number 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here and I'm going to say I want to fetch the image by ID 11, which I have just inserted, and this is the image, right? So all good. Now before we begin, I would like to say that I have changed the strategy. In the last video I have promised that I am going to do everything coding from the scratch so you guys can understand better, but recently I have received a lot of complaints that they don't want to see I code, they want to understand the concept. So what I've done is, whatever the code I have written over here, I have simply put down the whole code at a global location. Typing this in a URL, any browser, you can get this code, so the code is there, you don't need to worry. Okay, so you can simply focus on the concepts which I'm explaining and how I did this, right? So let's get started. First of all, you can see I have the button, right? Two buttons I am keeping, one for adding an image and second for retrieving an image. Besides that, I have two text boxes, one where I entered an ID and the second where I entered the title. This and these two guys work together, right? So I'm going to double click on add image, and this is a picture box, right? Okay, So when I double click on button click, you can see I have added one more control as open dialog. I hope you can see it, right? This is an open dialog which can be easily found, and where is it? Open dialog, yes, right? So you can simply use this control and drag it on here, so you can use it simply, right? So now first of all, when I say open dialog dot show dialog, it gives me a prompt that you choose the image file or whatever file you want to choose. Once I choose the file, based on that I get the file name in my a variable, a string variable. So you got it. The moment I hit the dialog and I choose my image, I have the file name in my file name variable. Then I create an image, which comes from system drawing.image, and I say image from file, and I provide the open dialog one dot file name, whatever I have received, right? So that's what I have. Next, what I do is I create a memory stream to hold my binary data. I mean, when you are talking about storing a data in database, basically what that image is comprising of the bytes, right? So what we are doing is we are taking the file and reading all the bytes from it, and we are simply storing that into the database. Now when we are dealing with bytes, during that that time, the memory stream is the best thing who can hold your bytes. So what we are doing is we are first getting the image in the image, and then we are saying that I want to save all the bytes into my memory stream, which I have just created here. So now basically your whole image is it contains the number of bytes, so the whole thing is stored into this your memory stream. Now when you say get buffer, image memory stream dot get buffer, it returns the data, your bytes of an image, into a byte array. And once you have that, okay, then simply you can add that thing into the database. But the important part is this only. What I'm doing over here is I'm creating an image. I'm saying I want to get the file which I have recently chosen. Once I have the file, I'll be saving the bytes of an image into an image stream which I have just created over here, which is nothing but a memory stream. And then I'm getting the byte array back from that memory stream by saying get buffer. Get buffer does that job. If you see, it returns the array of unsigned bytes and the way stream was created. And once you hold the binary data, and that you are going to add the same thing into the database, as you can see over here, this is a binary data, right? And that's what you need. So this is binary data. Then you do a simple technical typical things what we do in regular life. We do is create SQL command, but please remember the syntax is a bit different over here. It is SQL Ce command. Most of you, when you will be working with this code, it will give you that I can't find the SQL Ce reference. So during that time, what you need to do is you need to, in reference, you need to add the reference of SQL dot system data dot SQL Server Ce. Once you do that, you have the complete control over SQL command and SQL connection as well. So at the top I can see I have globally created a read-only connection which says that I'm pointing to my database using the SQL connection, and this is how you define. And if this is difficult for you to write down, then no worries. What you need to do is you need to select the database. You need to do a right click, properties, and in the properties you get the whole connection string. This whole connection string you simply paste over here and your connection is done, which is a guarantee. Okay, so what we have done is we have created a command which is going to insert a data in TBL data, which you can see over here, and I'm going to add image and title. I'm not worried about ID because ID is auto incremented. And then I'm going to add parameters and it requires a connection, so connection is up here. Okay, then now you will be passing your parameters, and I'm saying this is going to be my picture, and my picture image type is an image, and the value I'll be supplying is a binary data, which is byte array, which I have here. Okay, so this parameter is clean. Second is title, which is very simple. Whatever I am entering in this box, text title box, simply get that value in here. So basically I have filled the title and image as well. And now I'm going to open the connection. I'm going to say command dot execute non-query, which is going to insert into the database, and once if it does, I'm going to close the connection and I would give a prompt. In case if anything goes wrong, it will throw an exception. And by the way, this is not the recommended way of doing the code. There are much better ways. This is just a demo, so I'm going pretty fast. Okay, and a lot of people do these kind of things as well. This one, add my picture, SQL type binary data. This does not work when we are dealing with SQL Ce command. So you can try this code by enabling it, but you will definitely get an exception. So this is the guy, img, right? So you got the idea, right? What's happening so far? Basically this half we are doing is we are first of all getting the image, putting the data into the stream. From the stream we are getting the byte array. Once we have the byte array, we are calling the SQL and simply storing the data into the SQL, right? So this is done. So now we know how to add an image into the database, right? You can do set up your debug points, and you can go step by step, and you can see how it is performing. Now the next part is get an image by ID. Now it involves this text box, which is a pretty simple one, where we simply pass the ID. So I'm going to double click on this one. So let's have a look. So first of all, what happens is, again, I'm creating a SQL command, because this time when I put some value into this box, I'm going to query the database, right? So I have prepared a query. I'm saying select star from TBL data, which is this guy, and I'm saying the ID is going to be a parameter called as val, and passing the connection is up here, which you have seen already, right? And then I pass the parameters as well, and it's going to be an integer, and the value is going to be txt val, which is the name of this text box dot text. I'm doing the in dot parse. You can do a bit of an extra check over here, or if you want, you can set up a drop down. It will fetch you all the IDs, and based on that you can get the image. Next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a connection, right? Using SQL Ce data reader, I'm going to fire a query which will get me a data, and then I'm going to read the data, and after that I'm going to try that the data reader should look at the column, okay, img. When I execute this query, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get only one row of data. Within that, I'm saying get hold of image column, and I'm pretty sure that column has the byte array. So get that byte array in a variable. Okay, you can see this is a variable, and once you have the byte array, then create a new bitmap, and a new bitmap requires a stream. Within that stream you feed the byte array, okay, and once your bitmap is up and running, simply assign that bitmap to the picture box dot image, and once you do that, your image will start appearing, and after that you can close the connection, which you can see over here. The picture box one is this guy. Okay, so basically you got the idea, right? Simple thing was, you fire the query, you get the whole byte array, the data which is stored in the SQL, you pulling that whole data out and taking as a byte array, right? And then you're creating a new bitmap which requires a memory stream. Within that you're filling this image data. So your bitmap is fully filled, and now simply the picture box one dot image requires a bitmap. You simply giving him that, and it fills up the whole thing. So let's try that again. I'm going to say get me an image of 9 and get image by ID. I can get an image right away, right? So you're getting the idea, right, how this works. And like I said, I have kept the whole code onto this URL, and I'm going to put the same thing while uploading a video, so you guys can have this. So it was pretty easy to add and remove a database, the image into the database. The tricky part was only while retrieving an image and making sure, right? So you got the idea. The important things to remember: how do you create the compact database, SQL compact database, then how do you add a reference of the SQL data dot SQL Server Ce compact, right? If you can do this, then this is pretty easy, and I hope it works out for you guys all. If this doesn't work, or if you have any problems, then please give me a comment or feedback. I'll get back to you on that. Alright, so anyways, if this video helps you in some way, then thank you so much. Please subscribe and share this video with your friends, and thank you for watching once again. Good night and take care.